Lastly, accounting and showback. I call it showback a lot of times because in a cloud environment, chargeback or showback becomes also more important. In a physical environment, I don't have a lot of customers that are doing it, but as they move to virtualization, especially cloud, they want the ability to send what I would call, showback reports. Show me who's using what, and I want to, correlate that with financial metrics, and I want to create this report on a monthly basis to give to my customers so they can see how much they're using of IT resources. As folks migrate to cloud environments, this is becoming more important. And I wouldn't say that the capacity planners that I talk with actually, they're not sending out the bill, so to speak, but they're giving people visibility into what they're using and the cost of the IT resources that they're consuming. And these can be sent, automatically to your various consumers, stakeholders, or customers. Lastly, on cloud, I think I have to mention cloud at least 5, 6, 7 times in every presentation, or I get fired. I'm just kidding. Cloud is one of those buzzwords that everybody wants to know. What are we doing from a capacity perspective, or how do our solutions support cloud computing? And in very simple terms, you could see and visualize a cloud as virtualization on steroids. And capacity management in many ways is implemented the same for a cloud environment as it is for a virtual environment, but there are certain nuances, and we're building in those capabilities into our BCO product. So from an IT and line of business perspective, you kind of see in the upper left-hand corner, you've got IT that they have a cloud initiative. And they need to determine what applications should I provision in the cloud. How big does my cloud need to be? I have storage, network, virtual servers, physical servers. Maybe I'm using G-Block, as the underlying infrastructure for the cloud. How much resources do I need based on the services that I'm delivering in the cloud and the amount of resources those services consume. So there's the typical analysis, planning, forecasting, just to plan the size and complexity of your cloud. Then there's the user that comes in, and customers come in through that self-service portal, and here's where the complexity really ratchets up because you've got the beautiful user that can come in at any time and request resources of the cloud. And so that uncertainty is not seen as, it's frowned upon by the capacity planner who likes consistency. So if there's uncertainty, how many users are going to request resources, it makes the capacity planner's job a little bit harder. They have to anticipate and size the cloud essentially. So from a capacity perspective, there's 2 things. There's metering and chargeback you see in that box, and then there's intelligent placement. And this is where capacity is evolving. I've talked about analysis, reporting, forecasting. It's intelligent placement as the cloud becomes, it's a more dynamic, and fluid environment. You still have to provision resources. Where do you provision resources? Where do you provision this new workload that, this particular customer has just requested for 3 months? And so what we've done is we've used our algorithms in capacity optimization to automatically do the optimal placement. So instead of doing round robin, figuring out which cluster or which ESX or vSphere hosts would be best to provision and place this workload, the solution does it automatically. So we have integration between our BCO solution and our cloud lifecycle management solution to do intelligent placement. And then we have cloud capacity views that enable the customer and the IT line of business to look at capacity optimization, how it's being used, what are the hot spots, where's the white space in the cloud, and so forth, and how much do I need in the future. So you can do the same type of forecasting and planning in a physical or virtual environment as well for your cloud environment. the end of the day, you're sizing your cloud effectively to again align supply, IT supply, and business demand. Key benefits, you're enabling IT optimization. That's probably one of the keys. Talking to many customers, I was talking to a capacity planner, a large financial firm. He's worked with a number of different financial firms for about 15, 20 years, and he said, the first thing I need to do is best use what I already got. Before I can justify buying anything, I've got to show management that, we're using our resources to the max, and we're also aligning that with the services we need to, or the service levels that we need to deliver upon. So we need to optimize and right-size our expenses. IT and business alignment, you want to ultimately align your capacity to the business, the number of transactions you need to run, and through BCO's flexibility of the ability to bring in that data, performance data, business and financial, and do correlation and forecasting, enables you to do that. And you also want to, simply achieve better service, agility, and control. You want to have better control over your virtualization environment, cloud environment, and frankly get the most out of that investment that you're putting into virtualization or cloud. It's expensive to buy any type of virtualization, software, and you want to get the most out of that investment. Lastly, customer success. You might be sitting there thinking, this sounds great. It definitely, meets some needs that I have today or in the future. But, am I the first one to do this? People like to be on the bleeding edge, but with capacity management, they want to see that others have succeeded and how they succeeded and what ROI have they achieved. This is four different examples of typical results. Here's, different customers and different size customers in different verticals that had different problems. Dell had a very large environment that they needed to manage. They want to manage, although they sell servers, they want to get the most out of what they have deployed in their data center. Kimberly-Clark was, over-provisioned. They brought in a capacity planner to actually look at their infrastructure and to understand what they had. So they started with analysis. What do we have? How is it running? What's overutilized? What's underutilized? And then start to virtualize what they could. Vanguard, an example of where they wanted a holistic view. They wanted to look at not only compute resources, but they had mainframe, they had storage, they had network, and they wanted to see a nice holistic view of their resources and capacity used. And lastly, Vodafone, very small group of folks, handful of folks actually doing capacity planning, taking a lot of time. In this case, 2 weeks to do the studies that they needed to accomplish, and they needed to automate a lot of the processes. They needed to automate the reporting, the analysis. So now they spend less time on the reporting and the analysis, and more time on planning. So they're able to optimize, or should say, become more productive, be more efficient and effective, and increase the productivity of their staff. These are 4 examples. I'd be happy to send others if you're new to capacity management, want to learn about other benefits from customers. With that, that's the conclusion of my slides. The call to action, I'd say, in 2 words: learn more. You can go to the RightStar website, or you can email sales@rightstar.com to learn more about BMC's capacity optimization solution. If you go to the link at the bottom at BMC, we have a lot of data sheets, we have white papers, there's analyst reports, there's videos as well. We're doing a lot more videos that have a 2-minute overview of some of the capabilities in BCO. Those are really neat to look at, and they're short. You're not sitting down and reading a 4-page data sheet. You can watch them in a 2-minute video. So there's a lot of resources out there for you to learn more about BCO and capacity management.